Okay, where are we here? We're Premiere. So we want to open up a file. So you can go File, Open Project, or Command O. If you want to be cool with the keyboard shortcuts, that's always a good way to go. So I am opening an existing project now in Premiere. So here I am. Do I want to be in Documents?
No.
No. Where do I want to be? Documents area. So I want to stretch this column out so I can see my Documents area under Devices. Highlight Documents area. We're in column view. I'm going to then highlight on where I'm going to go to my editing folder because that's where I have my lesson files. But if you have your lesson files in your Premiere Effects folder, you highlight that. I'm going to go here to my practice lessons. So find your practice lessons and highlight them on your Documents area. And then I'm going to go to Lesson 11. And I'm going to open up the Premiere project. The PR purple icon, that's what opens into Premiere. So there's the project that I created. Let's see how well it opens because I made it probably on an older version of Premiere. So we'll see how well it's compatible with this newer version of Premiere. So I'm going to say click open. It's opening the project. Now because I made it on the older version, it is telling me that it wants to save a newer version. So what I'd like you to do is rename the file, go to name, and then just take out one of those extra ones there. We want it to be called Lesson 11. Put a hyphen and then put your name like that. I put my first name. We also want to click on Browse. Are you guys with me? Are you guys here?
No, you're going a little too fast again.
Uh-oh. Okay. Do you need help over there? You want me to come and help you?
Send Shelley.
Just go slower.
Okay. Where are you guys at right now? Oh, you need to still click on Open Project. You can go here or you can click the button there. File, File, Open Project. And then you go to Documents area. And your folder for the class, you make one. No. Okay, so are you okay now, Tony? Good. Okay, so we're putting your name for the project. We're renaming it Lesson 11 - your name. And let's change the location. So right now it's going into your Documents area, and it's going into my Premiere Editing folder, it's going into my practice lessons, and it's called, so it was called Lesson 11. But what I'm going to do is I want to change the location. So to do that, you click on Browse. And then you click on Documents area. And you can just put it in your FX folder, your Premiere FX folder. So it's just in a nice, easy to find place for next time. So in Documents area, in your Premiere FX folder. And then click Choose and see now it changed where it's located in Documents area in my Premiere FX folder. And then I'm just going to click OK there. And we'll see if it locates the media that's in the lesson files, and we can have some fun doing this project or this exercise and start slowing down and speeding up video files, video footage. Does anyone need help? Missing files? Oh no. Okay. If you see libraries, you can just close it. Unfortunately, we can't use libraries here at school. But if you have an account at home, you can take advantage of libraries. So your media is not skills. But for now, just watch. If you got behind, just watch. It's okay. Tomorrow I'll help you guys catch up. But I'd like you guys to see what we're going to be doing, to get an overview for tomorrow of what we're going to be doing for this assignment. So we're going to be learning about in the lecture 11, we're going to be learning how to change time. That means how to slow down, speed up footage, and there are different methods. I think 4 different methods. The first one is called 4-point editing, which we'll talk about in detail. And there are the steps for the methods. There's a tool we're going to learn called the rate stretch tool, which is very cool, which you can use to drag on the end of video clips to slow them down or speed them up. Then there's the speed duration dialog box. It's another method of slowing down or speeding up footage. We'll look at how to work with that. And those are all the steps. And then finally, maybe the most advanced method is called time remapping. That lets you create different variable speeds within clips. So you can have a clip of, so we're going to be working with some bikers. So you can have the biker speeding up and then jumping, doing a jump and then going into slow motion and then coming down, speeding up, and have variable speeds within the same clip and create nice transitional movements in your timing between speeding up and slowing down. Nice transitioning between that. So this is all how to do that. So 4 methods, we're going to be going over each one. The lesson tells you step-by-step instructions of what your assignment is. For this assignment, you will be using the 4 different methods of slowing down or speeding up clips. Each of the 4 methods of changing time are as follows. We just talked about them, so I'm going to skip over that. And a sequence has been created for each of these methods, and you're going to follow the steps to work on each different sequence. So the first one is 4-point editing. So we talked in the last quarter about what 3-point editing was. That's just basic editing. So 3-point editing will not change the speed of a clip, but 4-point editing will. What is 3-point editing? Anyone know what 3-point editing is? How do you do a basic 3-point edit? So here we are in our Premiere workspace, and normally we see the source monitor up here in this quadrant, in this panel dock, and then down here we see the project panel. This is where all our media is listed. So we see some video files here. If I can switch from icon view to list view, so you can see what are the video files. These ones are the video files. If you double click on video files, they open up where? In the source. So you can open up a clip by double clicking on it, and there it is. There we have some bikers. We're actually not going to be using those. That's weird. Where's my... Oh no, we're going to be using, for this first one, for 4-point editing, we're going to be using this clip called Hero Analysis. We're going to be using bikers for some other methods, but for 4-point editing, we're going to be doing Hero Analysis. So we got this clip here of this hero character in medieval times here. And I'm going to play this by clicking the play button, or you can use the space bar to play and stop.
You have been judged guilty.
Okay.
Of turning your heels on the face of the old gods. Your sorcery ends here.
So we do this by double clicking on a clip from our list of clips in our project panel. Our clip we can preview our clip to play in the source. And then we have over here, this is our timeline, where we have which one is the active sequence in the timeline. Can anyone tell? This is a sequence called 4-point edit. It's underlined. That means it's the one on the top. If I click on another one, then a different tab here, a different sequence comes to the top. I want to be on 4-point editing. There's nothing here yet. You can also see these are the sequence icons. For those of you who are new, if you double click on a sequence icon, it will also open up here in the timeline. So now which one is active on top? Time remap. Yeah, you can see that because of the underline under time remap. So I'm looking at my time remap. See, when you double click on a sequence icon, like if I double click on rate stretch over here, then what's gonna be active over here in the timeline? Rate stretch. Yeah, it works pretty straightforward, right? But you can also get to a different sequence by just clicking on the name. So if I want 4-point edit on top, I click that. Now 4-point edit is on top. So basic 3-point editing is you decide, you double click on your footage, which I did already. It's now showing in my source monitor, and I choose 2 points. I can do that here in the source monitor of where I want to start. Maybe I want to start here just after he is pushing on the door right there. So I've just pressed the space bar to stop my playhead there, and then I can press I to mark an in point, or you can click on the mark in button there, and that marks the first point in a 3-point edit. And then I want to decide how far I want to go. So I play forward.
Judged guilty.
Okay, maybe I want to stop there. So I play by pressing spacebar, stop by pressing spacebar, and I can click on my out button or press what? Can you see? Right, it tells you what the keyboard shortcut is, so you can simply press O, and now I have 2 points. Now where's my third point? What makes a third point? Third point is the location that you put the clip on the timeline. And you can set that point in different ways. You can put your playhead where you want the clip to go in, and that marks the third point. Or you can press I, and then I pressed I, that marked, or you can click on this button to mark in. That put an in point on my timeline. So that creates the first point. Or you know what? You can also press, if you press O instead. But see, now I need to if I want to do a 3-point edit, I need to remove my in point. So to remove it, I can do that in a few different ways. I can right click and I can do clear in. If I want to remove my endpoint, there's also a keyboard shortcut you can memorize for removing an endpoint. It is, anyone remember from last quarter? Option I to remove an endpoint. So I can do, if I was more concerned about where the clip ends up at the end, if I wanted to place the end of the clip at a certain point, I could do what's called back timing, and I can press O. Now I set an out point, so the clip will end up, will position its out point in line with this out point here, and that will override the position of the playhead. So if I want to bring the clip in now, I can do an insert or an overwrite edit. These buttons will bring the clip in and line up the end of the clip to this. So if I do, I'll just do insert, or it doesn't matter at this point. We'll just drop it in, and see where it lined up right there. Or I'm going to undo that with Command Z, and I'm going to Option O to remove the out point. Oops, I'm in the wrong, shoot. Command Z that, I was in the wrong. I had the wrong panel active when I did Option O, so I was removing my out point from my source, which I meant to remove my out point from my timeline. So notice the blue line, that means that what panel is active? Source. If I click on my timeline, see there's a blue line around my timeline. I made it active. So I can remove the out point with Option O. And now I'm going to use my playhead to be the position of where the clip comes in. That's the third point in 3-point editing. And I'm going to press You can use the keyboard shortcuts. You can do insert or overwrite or period for overwrite, or I can click the button and see then the clip comes into where my playhead my playhead was located, and it puts it in there. So now it's all black until I get to the clip. If I want to zoom into the timeline, I can press plus to zoom in, minus to zoom out so I can see the clip better. I can slide this clip around to move it around in my timeline. I can delete it by pressing delete. And if I want to have my playhead be at the beginning, I can drag my playhead to the beginning, or you can press the home key to jump your playhead right to the beginning. The home key on the little keypad between the main keypad and the number pad. And I'm going to do this again. Insert or overwrite doesn't matter. I'll talk more about insert and overwrite later as a review. We can click on either one there. Okay, so now I have the clip, just the in to out there.
You have been judged guilty.
So that is what kind of editing? 3 point. Very good. We're going to see what 4 point will do. I'm going to, let's say, and we're going to do that tomorrow. So I'm going to have you guys wrap up in just a minute, but let's say I want him to speak in slow motion. That's where 4 point editing comes in. Or if I want to him to speak like a chipmunk, what do you want to see him speak like a chipmunk or speak like a giant?
Speak like a giant.
Sounds like we have more for giant. So we're gonna make him slow motion. We're gonna do both tomorrow. So don't worry if you voted for chipmunk, we're gonna do chipmunk tomorrow. Okay, so what we need is a 4 point edit, because see the duration of this clip? It'll tell you what your duration is of your in to out. If you set an in and an out over here, this number, and this is called time code, and it's counting. We'll talk about time code more tomorrow. These are the frames it's counting up. These are the the seconds, minutes, and hours. You can see this time code over here is the position of the playhead, where it starts at the beginning counting frames, certain number of frames per second, then the seconds start counting up, and then soon you'll have the minutes count up and the hours if you get, however long your clip is. But normally the duration here that's set is the duration of the entire clip from beginning to end, which would be, wait a minute. So it will be what would the duration of the entire clip be? I just put it at my playhead at the end. That would be, what's that? 42 seconds. But because I marked an in and an out, the measure over here is just the duration from in to out. So how long is that? 2 seconds and 4 frames. So what if I want to make this guy sound like a giant and speak in slow motion, I need to set a duration over here in my timeline, which is connected to my program monitor. I need to set the duration to be longer than the 2 seconds and 4 frames. So let's say, I go to the beginning of my timeline and I press I here. You can also set your in and out. So you're setting, when you're setting an in point in your timeline, you're setting an in point. What was that? I pressed I, and then I'm going to go longer. Wait a minute. Then I want to go longer than, I want to go to here. I can see this when I'm dragging my playhead in my timeline right here. I can go to a specific number. So let's say I want to double. So I want to do 4 seconds. So I can click on this number, which is now 30 seconds and 22 frames. I can click, and I'm going to do 4. So I click on the number. I'm just going to type 400 and press return. Now I'm at 4 seconds. And you can also zoom in and out by dragging on the handles on the scroll here. So I can zoom in and out. And then I'm going to press, and then I'm going to press out, or I can click on the program monitor and mark out. And so it marked an in and an out, and it also shows me my duration. I'm 4 seconds and 1 frames, it's saying here. But that's enough to stretch this wider. So what it's going to do is it's going to take the 2 seconds and 4 frames here and stretch it to double its length to 4 to fit it in this in to out. So there's 4 points here. In, out here, in, out, in and out on the in and out from the source, going in and out to the timeline. So to do that, let's say I want to do an overwrite edit. So I click overwrite. Now it's giving me this message saying, do you want to fit the clip? Because sometimes you're trying to do a 3-point edit and you accidentally have 4 points. So it's just making sure, is that what you really want to do? Because it's going to change the speed if you choose an option. Or you can ignore an out point or an in point and just do 3-point editing, or ignore sequence out point. You have those options here. But I actually want to change the speed. So I want to choose fit to fill. And then I want to say okay. And now let's hear this this hero, how he's gonna speak.
You have been judged guilty.
All right, you never want to hear that in the court, right? So be careful. Stay out.
Judge Judy.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you, everyone. That's the class for today. Go to File and save your work. Make sure you save your work. Go to Premiere and quit Premiere Pro. And if you're an Acrobat, quit Acrobat. And make sure to scan out before leaving. Safely remove external drives. If you got an external drive, select it and drag it to the trash. That doesn't mean you're throwing it in the trash. That means you're safely removing it from the system.
Why you log out for me? I don't know.
Sorry?
Log out.